Hello guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're gonna discuss one of the greatest chess matches in history played between Frank Martian and Stepan Levitsky. It is often said to be the gold coins game because after this move, the spectators showered gold coins, and it is also given the title of American Beauty. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so Marshall is with the black pieces and Stepan Levitsky is with the white pieces. Let's start. So Stepan Levitsky starts with d4, controlling the center, e6, all standard. Now, this is like a French defense with e4, and now d5, attacking the center, knight to c3, defends the center, and now Marshall comes with a very unlucky move, pawn to c5. Actually, Marshall was very famous for his tricks, openings, and gambits. So, however, Levitsky didn't fall for it and continues his development. Knight to f3. Marshall develops his knight to c6. White takes, black takes, and bishop to e7. Bishop to e2. Sorry, preparing to castle. And then black plays knight to f6, developing another knight. White castles kingside, and white plays bishop to e7, preparing to castle again. Now, white plays bishop to g5, and black castles as expected. Now white takes a pawn, and now black can't take this pawn because then this pawn hangs. So Marshall played bishop to e6, defending the pawn. White played knight to d4, centralizing his knight. Black takes the pawn, and now Levitsky made a mistake in this point where he captured this bishop on e6, which is not that great of a move because after white takes with the pawn, now black has two powerful central pawns and this semi-open file for the rook to attack this black king, white king. Sorry, too many mistakes in this video. Now, white plays bishop to g4. Why? You can say, oh, this is a free piece, it can be captured. No, it cannot, because this knight is pinned. So even if you take, you lose your queen. See, imagine if you take, you lose this queen. So you don't want that to happen. So instead, Marshall played queen to d6, defending the pawn and getting out of the pin. So white played bishop to h3, defending the bishop. White centralizes a rook to e8. And now white plays queen to d2, connecting the rooks. Now, Marshall played bishop to b4, pinning the knight. And his threat is that if you play a random move like b3, I will play something like knight to e4, and it is pinned, remember. So, and this knight will be very powerful. It can take this. It can, like, see, as I told you, central knight are very powerful. So, white played bishop captures f6 and rook captures f6. White played rook to d1. Marshall played queen to c5. Now white came with a nice tactical idea. First, black took this c3 knight, pawn takes and queen takes. Now, guess what Levitsky played here? Levitsky played rook captures d5. Now you might say, oh, stupid move, you take the rook. But that's not how is it. Because if you take the rook, check, here, check, and you get mated. So you don't want that to happen, which also didn't happen in the game. What Marshall played is knight to d4. This is a good move. And here is where white blundered. White played queen to h5. Can you see this evolution bar? Can you see this evolution bar? How it changed completely? This was the evolution bar scene, and now see where white blundered and went his queen to h5, attacking the rook. The best move for white in this position was queen to e4, maintaining the pressure on the knight and still, pressuring the rook and pawn. But what Levitsky played was queen to h5. Now, fasten your seatbelts because there are three glorious moves coming up. First, Marshall doubled his rooks on this dangerous f5. No, the glorious moves are not coming up right now. It will come afterwards. Now, white played, rook to e5, trying to, it was he was saving this rook because it can ultimately be taken. So he saved his rook, and now Marshall played rook to h6. Did he? Yes, yes, yes. He played rook to h6, attacking the queen. And now Levitsky played queen to g5. Now fasten your seatbelts now, as there are two glorious moves coming up, and this is real. Okay. So guess what Marshall played here? Marshall played rook captures h3. You might think again why? Because if you take with the pawn, it leads to disaster, because after knight to f3 check, the king, the queen, and the rook are being the slaves of the knight, because it's a family folk, and after this white loses his queen and ultimately lose the game. So obviously that did not happen. What happened in the game was white played rook to c5, attacking the queen. Now we have reached the point we all were waiting for. Black to play and win. See, there are many ways black can finish off this game, but black went for an epic queen to g3, threatening a checkmate. It was a final nail in the coffin, after which Levitsky resigned. And it is said to be the spectator shout gold coins after this move. But why? As you can see, it looks like a stupid move at first glance. It is like you're just offering your queen, you don't need it anymore. But it is the brilliant move, and it is the best move in chess history. One of the best, at least, yeah. So let's see why. So imagine if you take with h pawn, this is knight to e2 straight away checkmate. So that did not happen, because anyways white resigned here. So I'll just show you why did he resign. Imagine if you take this pawn with this pawn, then knight to e2 check, king has to come back, and this is checkmate. Now you might imagine, what if white frees up some squares, like imagine rook to c1 for example, for freeing up that f1 square for the king to escape. But still it results in a forced checkmate just like this. So you might say white could also play something like f3, freeing up this square. But again, it leads to a forced checkmate, something like knight to e2 check, king has to come back, and anyways, this is a checkmate. So you might think, what happens when white simply takes with the queen? It is a best move here, in fact, and after knight to e2 check, king has to come here, knight to g3 check. Taking with the h pawn is not possible because you are in a pin. Taking with this pawn results in a checkmate, so you come back, you give this check, go, and you get this rook here, and you have an extra knight, which is a match winning advantage. And see, imagine now if you are wondering, what if, no, not this variation. What if white plays something like queen to e5, defending the diagonal, because you're threatening checkmate on the next move. Here it would not work because knight to e2 check, king has to come in, and this is mate. So as you see, we saw a wonderful game played between Frank Marshall and Stepan Levitsky. I know it is a very good game because the queen sacrifice was insane, the rook sacrifice was insane. So thank you so much for being here. Tell me in the comments what do you think about this game, and also what do you want next. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye bye. Good evening.